Oh man. That's good, boys. That's actually classic. You look not as good, but it's not bad. Not bad at all.
Things we do for you,
That's
Jack.
where's the wine?
Well, glad you asked that.
Come on. Get it out. Oh, he's
Ice
got the
cold
tea.
tea.
What? That's nah. Can't be having
You know
that.
what this flavor is, Jake?
What is it? Saints tears?
It's called humility.
You would coming from you blokes. Wouldn't even know how to spell that word, mate. Jeez. That's better. That's better. They're the ugly mugs that I miss. Beautiful.
There we are. Hi.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Footy Abroad. Here on this lovely Tuesday night. It's the 13th of May, 2025. Unfortunately, we are missing Swoop Luke tonight, who has arrangements. He couldn't be here. But look, the three of us, I think, will do.
Yep.
Wow, lads. What a round.
I know. Average margin of 10 points.
I saw that. It was a
10.8
record,
or
right?
something. Yeah. Unbelievable. Then it ended in a draw, the most unexpected draw we would have pictured in the season, but awesome round.
Yeah. So, I mean, Luke not being here throws a spanner in the works because I'm very mindful of this becoming just a St Kilda Carlton review.
I know. I was like, I should have just jumped on the fan cams. Like, what am I doing here? Honestly.
You should have jumped on the fan cam. I sent you the link.
No, I know. I did not like. I wanted to, but then I stayed too long after the game. I was chilling at the G. Then I did my review, and I just wanted to kind of detox after the game, drive home and relax. But
no, fair enough.
Yeah, you would know. I don't do saunas. I just do crying in my bed type stuff. You know, it's just a bit different. Should we talk about Collingwood though? Because they were impressive. Or do you want to get stuck in?
Do you want to take the reins of Collingwood or Pommy or yeah?
I mean, yeah, go Pommy. You go.
Yeah,
I've got the Collingwood chat in my chat, so look, I would be honoured. I would be honoured to stand in for Swoop, standing on the shoulder of giants. Yeah, Pies. I mean, what can you say about the Pies? I mean, that is one of them games where when you look at it from a data point of view, if you close your eyes, you would be like, okay, Fremantle won this. But what is deadly ominous about the Pies is they only need a sniff to grind that result out. And in a blink of an eye, they can just be so dominant without the ball. And that's the big issue with Fremantle. Fremantle piss fart around with the ball, having 75 more times than them. You look at the efficiency inside 50 for the Pies, it was close to 80%. They are a team at the minute that is humming. But I do want to dispel the myth that they had a lot of outs. That is still, they had 16 Premiership players out there. So yes, they rested players, but they still had it. But ominous signs for the competition. It has to be said. It was a very professional, very assured win. They've got no Degoe this week, no more. Their heroic captain. So another test for them this week against the mighty Crom, the three-headed snake. But they are looking mighty, mighty good.
Yeah.
It's their ability to find a different way to win. I think a lot of us talk about our teams with our game style and does our game style stack up. I think to become a great team, to go from a good to a great team, you kind of have to transcend that. In that you can have your game style and what you're known for, but you just have to adapt and just play the ball and play the game on its merits. I think the Pies do it well. I think the Cats do it. I think the Lions do it as well. Yeah, they're impressive. They're pretty quickly becoming the benchmark of the league.
I do agree with Pom though. I think after they won in particular, all these articles about one of their great wins and up against the odds, this and that, it's like, yeah, they had a few missing, but I mean, I tipped them. Like I tipped them even knowing that. You know, that's how confident I was, and they got the job done. I think I'm surprised more heat hasn't gone on Freo this week as opposed to last week when we played them. I feel like because it's Collingwood, it's like swept under the rug a little bit. But if it's a lesser team, it's a bit more of a problem.
You can't really pick it on a map, though, can you, Fremantle? Let's be honest. Like,
Absolutely
9 out of 10 Australians don't even know where it is.
Yeah.
A great point, Teresa donating on my channel. Pi, welcome. Yeah, that was bizarre as well. That I don't know if you two saw the knockout, but that game went on forever until like they dealt with it. And I've got to say, can I just give Darcy Moore a shout out? I thought the way he handled that at the end of the game was probably the most impressive way I've heard anyone call the umpires CUNTs without actually saying it. That was articulation 101.
Yeah.
Hey, it's not about what you say. It's about how you say it.
100%.
Pommy, I think this is on yours as well.
It is as well, eh?
Mark Gillies?
Smithies.
The Smith dog.
Mate, the Smith dog getting around it. Up and about.
I can afford new underwear now. Cheers, mate. Cheers, chat.
Why don't we do a little round? Jake, maybe we'll start with you. Actually, no, we usually start with the winners. I think that's fair. So we'll start with us. Pommy, you and I can talk about the Saints game on Friday night. Maybe you can start. I'll add some comments after.
Yeah, I mean, in what we could safely say that second half could be rechristened from Spud's game to watching paint dry derby. That was an arboreous game, but the Blues injured, hurt, no bench, just one guy, and all we had left really at the end of that game was I think the psychologist was going to get a gig. But I mean, the Saints, they're a hard side to break down, aren't they? They're so rigid, they're so disciplined, they're so stodgy, and the Blues had to find something. And I'd say that would be I think it's easily the most grindiest win, probably since 2023. I don't think we've seen that side of the Blues. They're so willing to play with the ball. We really are trying to play with it, that when that's taken away, I think sometimes you could have argued Richmond, certainly the Pies game, definitely the Doggies game. The Blues didn't really have that grit inside in the corridor. And I thought we out-Rossed Ross this week. I think Voss said it best. They wanted to slow the game down, and we were more than welcome to accommodate that. And Jake here, I think you've got to question the big man there. I thought Ross's tactics in the fourth quarter were horrendous, very safe, never really challenged Carlton. And to be fair, if you're going to go toe-to-toe with the Blues inside, there's only one winner in the league probably, and that's us.
No, I think, that was the sentiment after the game from a lot of Saints fans, and watching it back as well was, we had opportunities, which was disappointing. We actually had opportunities to win that game if we were ballsy enough. And it felt like if the ball wasn't in the hands of Sinks and Naz, no one was really looking to bite off that kick in the middle and open up the game. And like there was a good angle of Steele who had that moment and elected to go down the line, and it was a turnover. And but we still had opportunities. Like I say, we kind of didn't take them, but we definitely generated enough. You know, Filippo had a shot, I think, from the boundary, kicked his goal, and he was awesome. He was probably the main positive for me to see him come back and play some good footy. Max Hall on the run. And as much as we were 24 down. You guys were looking like you were getting hold of us a little bit. We had to condense the game and slow it down. But at the same time, we did chip away and we did get within 2. So from that point on, that was good. I was happy with that. I didn't care if the game didn't look great for the neutral, but we got ourselves in a position to win. And then we went slow. And that was like last 5 minutes, I turned to my uncle. I was like, we're 3 points down, 6 minutes to go. Why are we chipping it around? Why are we playing like we're trying to milk the clock? It was so odd. We needed someone to just release the shackles. And I do understand you did have players down on the bench, but when we're playing so safe, it didn't matter if you had 6-7 players out for the game, because we gave you that much time to sit back anyway. And you did flood the 50. You had to, that's just the way the game was. If it opened up, I think we had you, but we didn't even give ourselves a chance to do that. And with Higgins off, He was looking good. I was like, he wants the top of the Coleman. He kicked 2, and then he doesn't play the whole last quarter. And he's the sort of guy that when there's a game like that and you don't know where the goals are coming from, he invents goals. And like Sinclair, he invented that goal out of stoppage. No one else was going to kick that goal. He had to do something. And then the other one was a free kick. So it's like the way we generated goals wasn't great, but the way we lost was the way I probably predicted, or at least I alluded to talking to Terry during the week anyway. I was like, if we're going to lose, Cripper's going to have a good game. Harry and Charlie are probably going to kick 5 or 6 between them. They did. They kicked 6. They kicked half your score. So I was like, we can't allow both forwards to get off the leash. I thought Charlie got off the leash when the game was up for grabs and he took it away from us, and then Harry sealed it. So they kind of bobbed up in different moments. Marshall and TDK was a good battle, I thought. I still think TDK takes the win there.
That's a really interesting conversation. Pommy actually mentioned this last night. If you read Carlton forums and Carlton conversations, Carlton fans are saying, Marshall won that battle. But if you go and read St Kilda forums, they're saying the opposite. We found that fascinating.
Yeah. I thought TDK just played a TDK game, and I thought Marshall had to rise to stop the influence. And he was more physical, even in some of the ball ups and the throw-ins. Me and my uncle were like worried that Rowe was going to give away too many free kicks because it felt like his eyes were on TDK too often and not the ball. So he was very conscious of the size difference because TDK is, as we know, much bigger than Rowe. But I thought in contest, like stoppage scores, we outscored Carlton by 2 goals. So as much as your 1 clearance, we outscored on stoppage. So it was more just inside 50s. We didn't have those targets. Like I think a lot comes down to that. We didn't have those safe options down the line, Harry down the line. Even Mason Wood would have been nice as a chop out, but we just didn't have that. Sharman, Owens, I mean, they bobbed up in moments, but obviously not to that caliber that 2 Coleman medalists can do. So, disappointing, but I don't know. There's worse ways to lose. I don't think it's one that I'm worried about that's going to dictate the rest of the season. We play that game again at Marvel, fully fit teams. I don't know. Carlton Saints they're having good games at the moment. I thought it was a tough game of footy. I didn't think it was an ugly game. I thought it was just a tough game of footy at the G.
I agree. I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was a bit of sentiment about it being, dull, and I mean, everyone watches the game from a different set of eyes. I enjoyed it because it was tense. I enjoyed it because it was uncertain. I'm not going to lie. When I took my seat after halftime, Nick Haynes at this point, I didn't know if he was going to be coming back on. And I thought that would have been the tipping point where it would have been too much because I thought his influence behind the ball was incredible in the way he read the play. And I genuinely thought if he can't come back to the field, we're going to get run over. I mean, fair play. It was a good game. And we move on.
And the first quarter was awesome. Like 4 goals each. And again, we jump out of the blocks. We looked good. Like we looked good in that first 15. And then by the end of the quarter, we're behind. So it was like, we really need to nurse that a bit better. And also, I'm not reading the comments because I know Carlton fans aren't humble and they're just going to give me shit. Because they're a bunch of pansies, apart from you two.
Oh my God! Here he is.
Here's the true Jake's coming out. I did say in my review, the better team won, and you deserved it. So I'll leave it on that note. Yeah, the better team won. You took your chances, and we didn't.
Can I just say, the POM chat?
How was that for a mix of emotions right there?
Just say the POM chat was all here.
I think did you see a dark shadow? Did you see a dark shadow just possess me just then for a sec? Because what just happened? I've missed the last 10 minutes. What just happened? Did something just happen?
Everyone in chat was like, we're remorseful when you see Jake and stuff. Like,
don't be remorseful. I don't want your pity. I don't want your pity.
Just fucking MG42 them, bro.
Yeah, that's it, mate. That's how we go. But I don't need your pity.
I hope you realize this was the chat holding back.
Bring it on. Bring it on. Hey, We're at different trajectories here. You're supposedly contending, trying to win the flag, and we're building. So
Hang on
we're not on that same level.
Think about last
you know?
week. It was 50-50. We were both in
Yeah,
the
The
I
game
tried
was
to say
on
that
form.
last-
100% on
to-
form. It's 50-50. I was right. It was a close game. Yeah.
I tried to say exactly that in the preview, and I said we should be better, and you took that as if I was like digging at St Kilda. But then in your review conversation, you're saying, well, it's we're in different zones. I'm like, well, okay, well, I tried to say that in the preview.
Well, yeah, but that's on form. I'm going on form. I'm just talking about list wise. It's different, but on form, we can absolutely win that game. And if we played that 10 in a row, it's probably going to be split 5-5. Like the two teams are playing some ripper games.
Behave.
Well,
Behave.
oh yeah. Oh, sorry. In the last 10, we've won 7. I'm being kind there. Yeah, just relax.
Oh.
You take the win. Be humble, and let's move on
We're
to the rest of the
trying.
show. Let's move on to the rest of the show.
You're opening the door, but
You're talking. I'm trying to be humble.
I'm just telling you, mid ball ain't gonna cut it. Mid ball ain't
Mid-ball?
gonna cut it.
What is that? What is
Mid-ball.
that?
Mid ball. That's
that
what
it?
you play. Mid.
You reckon?
Oh, come on! Like, look,
well-
I love you, Jake, but look, I was
I-
sorely disappointed with your Saints. I was expecting a lot
Definitely.
more.
In that last 10 minutes, 100% up until that point, we did enough to put ourselves in a position to win. But then when it was there for the taking, then, yeah, I agree. That was disappointing. We needed to keep going, but we panicked.
But watching that, I thought during the game, like, yeah, you won round stoppage, but I thought like Carlton quickly had your number with playing that Burns as an extra behind the ball. We worked that out quickly. I genuinely think the only thing that stopped us, in my humble opinion, you know me, I'm not gonna blow smoke up Carlton's arse. I'm far the opposite.
Teresa, you got no idea.
I watched that game for 3 times, and it was the worst watch I've ever watched. Like, honestly, that game was
The Carlton Blue. You reckon?
hard to watch. Because it felt like your entire mantra, it was almost like watching Carlton versus Adelaide and my criticism of us. It was almost like he'd gone in there and went, this is what we do, fuck Adelaide. It felt like Ross had looked at Carlton and said, stop them in the middle, stop the Blues. And that's not the case. Like, if you're going to play that way, I genuinely think if Ross came in and we had our full team, we win that 10 times out of 10. Because it's not going to pressure us. We can do that all day.
Oh, well, we don't know 2 full teams what's going to happen. We're missing a few.
Yeah,
We had
but I'm
6
saying
players
with
under
respect,
20 games.
Carlton never looked troubled, did they? Be honest, we never looked troubled in that game.
The first 15 when we came out of the blocks, that was the only time.
But we negated
time.
it incredibly quickly and
Yeah.
ramped the goals on almost at will.
Yeah. You jumped us in that second. I mean, the first quarter, 3rd and 4th, we both sides kicked the same amount of goals. It was just that 10 minutes in the second where I don't know if Charlie may have got off, or was it Binns? I can't remember, but you kicked a couple in a row, and that was kind of the difference. It was the second quarter. The rest, I thought, was kind of.
I mean, full credit to you.
50-50.
You know what I do want to give you credit to? I don't know how you've managed to cheat the AFL system for 3 years with Cal Wilkie holding the hand of a key forward all game. How does he get away with that? Because if Jacob Weitering looks at a key forward, it's a free against him. Wilkie, like, literally.
Oh, don't go there. Don't go there.
Bro, he is!
Harry
Wilkie
throws Dukes out the
every
way.
week.
Harry throws Dukes out the way, then Higgins does the same, and it's a free kick. Harry in the goal square.
behave.
Wilson spoils the ball, and he gives him a free kick in the goal
Stop
square.
it. Get some help.
What's that for?
Bro, Wilkie
You won the
touches-
game. Are we gonna? This isn't Blue
Wilkie
Abroad
touched-
fan cams. All right, let's
No,
move
I'm just
on. Let's
being
get to the
nice.
topic.
I'm just saying, Wilkie, every game I watch of St Kilda, Wilkie, like, mauls the defender. He touched it. Honestly, he touched Charlie Kerner more than my wife has ever touched me.
Yeah, and
we've been
Charlie got the
together 12
freeze.
years.
So what are you complaining about?
There should have been more.
Should have been more.
All I'm saying is if
He got-
if he does that in 20 years' time, bro, the way the world's going, he's doing 25 to life the way he was touching him.
Oh, relax. Let's move on.
It's a HR issue.
I'm not
telling
copping
you.
that shit. Nah.
I
Let's
want to
move on.
give a shout out to the Saints for something that didn't happen during the game. I was privileged to be a part of the Spuds ride, and I thought, I don't think I've ever been. Well, I've never been a part of a themed game in the AFL like what I have been a part of the Spuds game with the Spuds ride, and I thought it was one of the most incredibly set up things that I've actually ever seen in my time watching the game. I genuinely mean that. I'm not being facetious. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Let me get the photo up. Where is it? Jake and I. Where is it? It's here. Jake and I. Look at us. Look at the two of us, mate. 11 p.m. outside the MCG. Jake with the skins on. I've gone raw dog, cold legs.
Raw dog.
Yeah, it was great.
That's
I got to say, I was a bit
It was
iffy about doing it, especially when I found out that we were going to be riding on the same bike.
well, that's the most priceless moment of the whole thing was when we both stood in front of the tandem bike and we looked at it. Then we looked at each other, and I was like, "This bike looked a lot smaller on the Insta stories," because it was when we picked it up. We're like, "Oh shit, okay." But then, I mean, we got sort of sorted out pretty quickly, apart from the dodgy test run.
Yeah, so I took the front of the bike, and it was just nice to have Carlton pulling along St Kilda at the MCG once again. It was good.
Yeah. I'll ignore
anyway, I think we're ready to get on with the show.
Are we? Geez, that was longer than my actual match review.
If we have anything else that we would like to talk about and get it off our chest.
Nothing to be not on camera. Let's move on. Okay. Post show.
Got him. Edge. First slip.
I knew when Swoop said, "Sorry boys, I can't make it." I'm like, I'm fucked. That's what I thought straight away. So I'm like, whatever. Cop it. We'll see how we go.
Hey, we copped it. We copped it when you kicked us out of finals. That was mortifying.
We didn't kick you out of finals. You nearly kicked yourselves out of finals. You can thank Freo.
Well, Freo kicked us.
They didn't.
Freo
Brisbane did,
out of
if
finals.
you remember.
That's true.
In the first quarter. But anyway. Okay,
right.
Topics.
So I've got a topic. I'd like to start this week. I think a lot of the time, we speak about this a lot, the culture of talking about footy in the media. It's generally about what's wrong and, is the bump dead, or is the specky dead, or is this dead? And I've noticed a few things lately. So, I mean, when we had our debate a few weeks ago around the Curtis suspension, I made reference to like the bump of Gross on Mackay. Good bump, fair bump. Play on. Harry was concussed, but there was no suspension. I think it was Dougal Howard. He bumped McGovern, and McGovern subsequently was. I think it was Dougal. It might have been somebody else.
Oh, it was O'Connell.
O'Connell. Sorry. So fair play, fair bump, amazing, but it doesn't get highlighted in the same way as what a different incident would if it was cited. And the rhetoric around the bump is dead and the game is fucked would come out. But when there's a great bump, which I thought it was a fair bump down the line, hit him fair and square. Yes, McGovern was hurt and he was subbed out, but you won't see a Carlton fan say, "Oh, he should have been rubbed out." So I wanted to ask the question, is anything working in the game? Because it seems like everything's not working and the game is fucked. Is there anything about this game that we watch and talk about that is working? Like if you were talking to someone who didn't know about the game, basically, what would you pitch? How would you pitch it?
Well, I always pitch it as I think it's the most, like the athletes that run out there, they're some of the best in the world. The variety of athlete. I always sell it that way. It's like, in most sports like basketball or, boxing and that, you got to be a certain size, certain build. If you're good enough, you can make it. It doesn't matter how short you are, how tall you are, how slow you are, how big you are, how small you are. You can't just not just make a career. You can be an absolute superstar, and one of the highest paid players in the country. If you're good enough skills-wise and effort-wise. So I always sell it that way. I love the variety of the small blokes tackling the big blokes and going for marks, and the big blokes being big and the small blokes being quick. The variety of athleticism on show, I think, is still as good, if not as it was as good as it's ever been. So, and then to cop the hits, I still promote the physicality of the game. I don't think it necessarily has gotten softer. Like when you watch it up close, like on Friday night, you're like, nah, like they're still tough. They're still going in hard. They're still tackling hard. They're a bit more careful in certain situations, but it takes a lot of courage to play AFL football at the top tier. So that's kind of my view on it when I talk to someone that's never watched it.
Fair. Yeah, because the game has record numbers of viewership and attendees. So I mean, something's working.
Yeah, I think like what we've always talked about, things that aren't working, sell more. It's easy to talk about. It's easy to put the negatives in the newspaper and question, is the game. But then also, how many times, a year and every year we always see an article that's like, is the game as good as it's ever been? We always see articles like that too, but they kind of do get overshadowed. But
Pommy, if you were talking to a mate back home who never watched the game, how would you sell it? And they would ask you, why do you actually create content about this? You must love it. Like what's the selling point?
I think AFL has the largest disparity between tactical development, structural development. In round ball, particularly, it's very slow and it takes a while, and everyone kind of plays the same behavior. Do you know what I mean? Like if you watch La Liga, there is a Spanish style of play that 99.9% of the teams play. I think when you watch AFL, there is some real differences in teams. So a couple of my mates they're on the Adelaide Crow bandwagon at the minute. They really like watching them, partly because I sell it, but you get to see them like difference in ethoses throughout the team. So you've got Saints who are heavily on protecting the ball, not giving the ball up in stupid areas. They're a very safe team. That's no disrespect to them. Most people would see that as an insult, but that's a logical way to play. But then you've got a team like GWS. They don't care about that. They ain't playing percentage football. They're playing high intensity, high velocity, high output football. Adelaide, the same. Then you've got, the Blues, who are like that kind of hybrid team. Bit of a turnover side, bit of a inside contested side, trying to do it. You've got like 18 brands of football on show. So I think there's something for everyone, isn't there? There is something for everything. So, I mean, I agree with what Chat's saying. Life is life, isn't it? We all complain. And I think we've kind of got to, as an old man myself, you've kind of just got to get used to that. You kind of just got to sit it out, haven't you? That the world is trying to get safer. And when you try and make everything safer, you just become stupider because you take away the cause and effect. Do you know what I mean? And what I mean by that is, like you have to have yellow tape on a step now in case a kid falls over it. But when I was a kid, if the kid fell over it and knocked himself out, you all laughed at him. He worked out there was a step there. You eventually take away stupidity, don't you? And stupidity comes back en masse. So I think you're always going to complain because everything is trying to be safer, and we'll find an equilibrium, just probably not soon.
Yeah. I usually talk about when I'm speaking about the game and even explaining it to someone who has no idea what it is, I liken it to Quidditch. And then I say it's got the ultimate combination of all sports. But I think the biggest selling point, and maybe this is because it's my Carlton experience, is the atmosphere at the MCG. Like that is the selling point for me, and the levels that it goes to. But that's a weird one because there's a lot of sports, in particular, football and basketball, where crowd atmosphere is really high. So I don't know. Maybe it's the 18v18 on the field at any given time. That's the one that raises the most eyebrows when I talk to people who are not familiar with the game, like them conceptualizing that there's 36 players on the field of play live at any given time. Like that is the biggest, like, what are you talking about moment? I think was it Sean who wrote this comment? Where is he? Oh, Sean Shepherd, maybe?
The man.
Sorry, mate. I've missed the comment, but he was talking about the competitiveness of the comp, and I think that has definitely improved. I think a lot of people were talking about Richmond not winning a game this year. I mean, West Coast are obviously very poor. North and Brisbane drawing, like, did anybody think that could be a possibility? I don't know. I do think the equalization is working as well.
That was that's actually very strongly my topic.
Oh,
actually,
well,
enough.
what a perfect segue.
So you kind of took the words out of my mouth there.
All right.
Oh, you want to get straight into it?
Mate, let's go.
No, because I was just thinking about the fact that this round was so close, and a lot of people are lauding it and talking about how great that is as a neutral, that everything is so close, every team can beat a team on a given day. And of course, I was thinking, I just wanted to think of it in a different way, and it kind of came about, is the ladder more even than ever, as in maybe it's more mediocre, like anyone can win, the vibe is good, or is it a symptom of decline? Is it a symptom of the best teams aren't as good and the bad teams are better? What? Like, why is it necessarily a good thing that Brisbane is drawing to North? For the neutral, it's great, but I mean, for Brisbane and North supporters, I don't know.
That's a really interesting question.
Do you see an improvement in the bottom half, or is it just that the top half? Like, because when I think of even 2004 to 2010, like when a top team played a bottom team, they absolutely destroyed them. Like, absolutely. I remember, I don't want to harp on it, but even 2004, we played Carlton. We kicked 31 goals. Like, you don't see that anymore. Maybe Geelong occasionally. Maybe when Melbourne were really bad 5-6 years ago, or actually further than that, when they really went through a rut and Geelong did that to them, kicked over 200 points. Geelong did it to Richmond. They've done it to a lot of teams. But, apart from West Coast, who, I mean, we play them this week at Optus. I'm sure some people are thinking, okay, if they're going to win a game, that could be it. But I'm just curious, like, are the top teams more experimental at this time of season because they're that confident they're going to book those wins in early and lock in top 4? Do these top teams play more youth than the ones 10, 15 years ago? Are there more debuts coming through? The Ashcrofts, like, does that affect performance a bit for these top teams? So is it a good thing that the ladder is so tight, or is it that things are, the teams aren't as good?
I think it's a good thing. I think the longer you can have more fans the longer you can have more clubs with a chance to make finals in a season, the more competitive and the more dramatized it's going to be. So to be at the very top of the table, you've got to be pretty good. Now, this time last year, Sydney were flying. They were the benchmark. They were so far above everybody else, but they didn't win the flag. Brisbane actually won the flag outside of the 4, which has always been spoken about as, you cannot win a flag outside the 4. So to answer your question, I think the middle part has gotten better. I also think the standard of the game, that the general standard of the game has gotten better, and the general pool of talent is better and more skillful. And that's why you have so many different variables of results from any given week. But I mean, I don't know what other clubs feel in terms of their prospects week to week.
Yeah, I was just thinking, like, if you pick that middle tier of teams and they played a middle tier of teams from 15 years ago, would it be competitive, or would a certain, like, because you think that they're better? So, I mean, maybe you're right. I mean, you look at it, the Dogs are flying and they're 6th. Geelong, they win flags for fun, they're 7th. The Giants, probably the best list in the competition, they're 8th. So maybe, and Adelaide, obviously 5th, best attack in the comp by a mile. So that's a pretty ominous middle tier of the ladder when you look at it that way.
Tommy, what do you
maybe
think?
Well, I think you're seeing, like, when I first came over here, so like started watching football 2012, 2013, I think you always had like 2 teams that were so much better than anyone else. But like when I first started getting into like the real complexities of why the game was, and I think people who watch my early content, my biggest complaint was there was no real tactical nuance. It was almost like you'd get like Clarkson's play on quickly, running it behind to get the ball back, and then slingshot from the back half, which he's like the godfather of the turnover transition game we see today. Then you saw like the next shift was dimmer, and he's manic forward half pressure and that team press, which we see today, that every team does. I think now you're starting to see that the 1%ers, the 2%ers are so much more important. So you see like the tactical game day coaches, don't you? Like Sam Mitchell, you're starting to see that. I think even when you see the rebuild, it's got to be hard. If you look at years ago, rebuilds in other sports were done in bits and pieces. You look at the modern day rebuild now, Hawthorn just kill it and get to it and play the system you want to play in 5 years. So you can see like Sam Mitchell had that philosophy, didn't he? Where, how did he word it? He worded it so articulately. That was it. Play for the players that will be here in 5 years' time. So he ignored what they were, but he played the system for where these players will develop in 5 years' time. So once they had the talent and the confidence and the physicality, they were second nature to their system. So I think you see it, don't you now? Like you can't kind of see it with the older coaches. I think that's where people slate Clarkson, right? But they don't realize that Clarkson almost comes from an archaic brand where it was like a system shift for 4 years until people caught you up. The tinkering you see in game now is astronomical. And we do the tactics show once a week for all the other clubs. The amount of content you get from the team switches, the matchup switches, the switches that the teams do in game, it's insane. So I think, to answer your question, Jake, I think teams are getting better, but you can no longer dine out on having the best 22. Yeah, you have to have that coach. You have to have that nuance.
Yeah.
Which I don't think we've had for a long time. And I think that's what you saw with Brisbane. They were off. North Melbourne play a very counter-attacking brand. And we've seen Leicester City win a Premier League, haven't we, Jake? It happens. If good teams aren't on, a counter-attack can kill you. So I like it. I like where the game is at the minute.
Yeah, I do too.
On the flip side, it is interesting, though, then you've got people like Nathan Buckley who says, well, I think the top 7 are locked in, despite us saying on any given day, you know, the result could go either way. It's interesting that, you know, the experts out there still think the top 7, top 8 at this early stage are a lock, which I don't agree with. I think there's so many teams out of the 8 that can sneak in.
I actually think the top 2 are the only
They're
2
locked?
right now where I'm like locks.
As in locked for the 8 or locked for those positions?
Okay, so I think Brisbane and Collingwood are locks for top 4.
Okay.
And then the others, I can see a bad patch of form derailing them a little bit, or a couple more injuries derailing them a little bit, personally. I mean, look, you look from 6th through to 6th through to 13th. It's literally one game.
Yeah,
it's 4 points. So, you know, and then the questions around fixture will come, no doubt, later in the season. I'm already starting to see it. Carlton are about to play North and West Coast for the second time in the season. They failed to mention in the same sentence that we also play Collingwood and Hawthorn twice in the same season as well. But I do think that the fixture conversation is going to get hotter and hotter the later this year goes and the closer and more even the competition is.
Yeah, 100%. It was interesting.
It's funny though, because the media take ages though to get back. Like I agree with, but I don't think it. I think anyone could beat anyone. I think there is a case that experience will come in to it, but I would blame. I think there's also an element that there's no real incentive to be the best team in the country at the end of the year. Is there? Top 4 is still it. So I think you will probably get to a stage where they're going to have to do something to incentivize. Because I reckon the way the ladder is, I agree with Terry. I think Brisbane and Collingwood are head and shoulders above everyone else at this minute. I think Brisbane just had a blip. But there will be a point at about round 18 that they know they can drop 3 or 4 games and still be top 4. I think there's going to have to be a shift of trying to incentivize finishing as high up on the ladder as you can. There has to be.
What is that?
What could,
Is that
what could that be though?
that can only really be extra funds in the soft cap or something of that nature, right? That's what it could honestly be. But then, yeah, I don't know. Like, what can you do in a season for a club to benefit in the final series for finishing on top?
Don't know. It'd be tough.
Could it be like something on the grand final, like more tickets, something like that? Or,
Oh yeah,
if you make it, you get a 60%, like, because if Brisbane finish top and then say they play Collingwood in the grand final, some Brisbane fans might miss out because obviously Collingwood's got a massive fan base and it be held at the MCG. Maybe there's something there with Brisbane finishing top. They get there's more of a priority for Brisbane supporters to get to the game because their team did finish top. Something around there or something like that to get a bit more dominance, more of a home ground feel for the number one team.
Could it be something pick related?
No father
Like,
son for a year? Yeah, that'd be...
No, but like a pick 19? Like, we hold it over?
Yeah.
You get an extra pick. So it gives them an incentive to, hang about, I can, buy more players. I can improve this list somewhat.
Imagine the whole draft gets pushed back one pick because, you finish top, you get that.
I agree with that
interesting.
because I like the mentality of incentivizing winning, but I can quickly see that narrative being weaponized to the competition's unfair and it's all about keeping the good teams up the top. But I agree with that. Incentivize a team for finishing on top.
But maybe they can't trade the pick like for a future pick or swap it. They have to pick a player on the night at that pick. That pick is the premiership pick.
Well, I think it would I think at the minute there is a huge incentive, and I'm shocked because if you watch all my draft content until Hawks did it, it was something I said. If I was a list manager, I'd just kill the list because if you're rebuilding, the aim is to be 18th, is it not? Like that's the dream place because it has the highest draft value if you want to trade it. You've got the world is your oyster. I don't understand why I always used to say, I don't understand why you can't communicate with your members. Look, we're going to be absolutely shit. We're probably going to win 1 game, 2 games, but we have to win 1 or 2 games because if we don't, we won't actually have any draft arsenal to attack with. So why can't you do it that way? Like you're starting to see teams heavily rebuild. If you finish, I don't know, like 19, the AFL class band 2 was the most common. So they've looked at 19, 20 as picks that no one really cares about, end of first. If you said that 1 and 2 get 19 and 20, then it opens the door of, do I go for it? Like, do I go for it and keep the window open knowing that I'll have 2 second rounders if I finish top of the ladder? So Collingwood could look at it this year and go, do we have to attack the draft or do we back ourselves to win the fucking thing and get an extra second? And suddenly it helps your list management out and retains players. But also, you look what Collingwood do. They trade their future first, who do they go to? Invariably, they go to poor clubs.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I'm surprised that's not been a topic more.
Well, it's been raised here, so
I know.
Yeah, but like
it'll be
the Titans here, like the AFL clubs though aren't bothered about Tasmania coming in because this is the first new franchise, right? And speaking to list managers, this is the first franchise that they've ever been talked to about. So the last 2, they weren't really liaised with. It was more the AFL saying, this is what we're doing. So that's why you've got the new system at the minute where they've got to trade picks, which for me, I think is mental that no one's done it because when we discussed Tasmania on this very show, that was one of the concessions I suggested should be enforced with new franchises. We're going to let you get in front of the shit teams, but you have to trade them. So then the bigger teams come to play who are one of the more affected. It doesn't affect the rubbish teams because the difference between 1 and 5 in a draft from a talent perspective isn't that hard considering you're planning on that 2 years in advance, most of the list managers. So it's like, okay, cool, we might not get this player, but we're still going to get a pretty good player. That then opens the door to teams who are at the top, who are going to say, right, we can get pick 5 here, but we're going to have to give up a good player, right? And that's what you want to encourage. So, like, I am of the school we should be encouraging more teams selling as opposed to more teams buying. So I don't mind if you had 19 as a caveat to trade. It would work out 2 ways that suddenly the bigger club can maybe expand. So if Brisbane win it and they get pick 19, right? If you had that as a caveat to trade, suddenly then what's to say that's not a player? What's that to say North don't knock on the door and go, we want Zach Bailey? And they're like, okay, cool. We've got pick 19, so we'll give you 19 and Bailey. Then it gives North more fluctuation to trade out a pick, get established talent, and have a top 20 pick. So you see, I think it would work that way. I don't think, I think sometimes people look at draft concessions and think in the rubbish era of football, because the 80s and 90s, that's why they don't really count today, because it was so easy to steal and cheat to win. Now, the modern era from 2000, that's where it's at. Because
is that due to the fact that the pool of talent is greater? Like draftee, like, you know what I'm saying? Like 20 years ago, the overall pool of people playing footy were not as good as now.
Yeah, well, I mean, you start, and I think one of the big things as well is that the draft for years, when it first came in, was aimed at the same private schools all the time. And Geelong were one of the first to go outside of that catchment and send scouts to country league football. And a lot of people criticise Geelong. Look at their success rate from the Geelong League. It's incredible. And it's because no one else goes there. I remember going to a game a couple of years ago to see a player who was on one of my draft boards. And there was 3 of Geelong scouts there and not one of any other club. And they actively recruit in that area, and they have fingers in all the pies from under 13 level to under 18 of how the kids are going. So, Tasmania, that's why I love my Tasmania. We're speaking to some of the Tasmanian Devil coaches over there. It was only a couple of years ago that they started to see all 18 list managers. They'd usually send one person to go over there, but they'd go and check out a Vic Metro game. So there's loads of untapped talent. And if you look in the AFL now, the players who are a little bit later in the draft genuinely are from areas that aren't scouted. So that's what Tasmania coming in is going to help. Teams are going to have to be more creative. It's why Carlton have asked for a recatchment. So has, I think, Western Bulldogs have looked for a reallocation as well, because they've just got father sons and NGAs through. They haven't had any local boys through their catchment. So that's what's going to be happening massively. We can do that if you want, Teresa, before we can move on. I just saw that. Thank you, Mark. So yeah, the draft concessions that Tasmania gets. So we can cover that if you want. We've got time to fill, haven't we?
Sure.
So what's going to happen at the minute is that the AFL are going to give them 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13 in 2027, right? So, right. But 5, 7, 9, 13 have to be traded. Have to be traded. They can't take them to the draft. There is a few caveats on them selections. If they can't trade them at that point, they can actually bank them with the AFL. So pick 5 becomes pick 5 in 2028 if there isn't a deal that satisfies them. But they will have them rides. They've also got caveats on how they can trade it as well. So the AFL have set a cap that it can't be 40% more than its draft value. So, you know, when you've watched my videos, you get 3,000 for pick 1, 2,700 for pick 2. They've redone that. They can't oversell it. So, for example, they couldn't sell it for more than 40%. So that would work out if they sold 27, if they told pick 7, they couldn't sell that for unders and get ripped off, but they can't rip a team off either. So they've really tried to protect what the AFL are doing there. So this is going to be, people look at it as a fear factor, but if you're clever right now and you're a list manager, you're thinking 2 seasons from now, who on my list is 26? 26, right? So you go through your book and you go, right, who's 26? You're like, can I get a replacement for him? So let's use an example at Carlton. Let's just say, let's just say Patrick Cripps is 26 now. All right, let's just say he's our captain. He's 26. Say Carlton have got Cody Walker coming next year. They've got Jagger Smith there. If you're a list manager, you're thinking, can I get them two ready that I can sell my big pillar for maybe pick 5? And that's what you're doing now. So if you're a list manager now, you're looking at established talent, maybe with a Tasmanian route, and you're starting to think, can I get a replacement for this best 23 that is established and ready to try and maximize that? So people, I think, give list managers way too much intelligence. Don't don't realize it is quite easy to do if you forward plan. It's hard to do if you're just like, oh shit, drafts next week and my list is cooked. But if you're a good list manager now, you're looking at 2027 and you're thinking, I've got 2 years of picks I can trade this year. Collingwood would have done it really smart. Teresa, great example. You keep trading out first, knowing that you're going to appease the AFL this year with your father's son, McGuan, so you get one of your 2 picks inside 4 years, right? You're probably going to have to trade a future to get some capital in for him. But if you're smart, you're on trade in 2027. And even though you'll get the please explain from the AFL of you've got to pick 2 firsts in 4 years, if you're smart, you're like, when 2027 comes, we're going to get rid of 3 of our 29-year-olds to them. We're going to help them out straight away. We've established talent and we're going to buy. So I reckon Collingwood are one of the few clubs in the AFL who have looked to 2027, said, we can attack the draft hard and establish talent and come back into the draft. That's a smart play. I hope Carlton do that. Yeah. Saints will definitely do it. Sauce is the dodgiest twat in the league. So he will definitely be right now thinking, how can I get picks from them?
All right. Let's go to our next topic. Pommy.
Okay, well, I mean, mine was easier. I've been trying to fix it and I haven't quite got it done, but I can show you how it's looking. But this week, because there's no Luke, I was going to do a fun game and I had it all planned. I had Collingwood-based questions and he fucked me with 5 minutes to go. So there's a fine coming. So what I did is I had a look at the GWS. So GWS came out this week and said that they wanted to kill the dead time in AFL. And they did some little stats and some data, and it's averaged 2.5 minutes on average since last year, longer per quarter. And I've done a little bit of research from 2020 to now. We're looking at about 3.5-4 minutes per quarter has gone up. And there's a lot of dead time. There's a few explanations for this. We've got the VAR, the ARC that they use, the checking the technology. We've got all the stoppages. We've got all the out of bounds, how long it takes them now, because evidently a boundary umpire can't work out if the ball went over him, though it hits him. Crazy stuff. But I wanted to work out, is he right? Is he right? Now, his explanation is it turns people off. And I've got to admit, I've looked at my lives. I've been doing lives for games. We're hitting 3-hour lives now for a game, a watch along, where before it was a 2.5 hour, 2:45 if I was chatty and I was up and about. Is it too long? And if it is too long, what is the happy medium are we thinking? Are we thinking, do we just cut it off at 25 minutes? Do you know what I mean? Do we have just a running clock that once it gets to 25, game over? Do we do that? What is the happy medium? Because I am inclined to believe that if you look at the injuries now from the COVID year when we only did the 20 minutes, They are astronomical. And that was probably one of the best injury years. And Terry may remember it because we nearly made finals with a shit list.
Yeah, until they let Bryce Gibbs have 30 touches off the half-back flank without going near him. Anyway.
And our cheer squad cheered him when he kicked a goal. That effectively sealed the game. Yeah, brilliant days. Cheers, Taz. Love you.
Well, it's interesting to see that and hear that data because I think the insufficient intent rule and the way that they've really ramped that up has killed the throw-in and maybe some dead time there. But then... And it's actually encouraged the game to speed up. But then obviously score review is really the elephant in the room for the delays, is it not? Like that's the big difference right now. It's score review. So, okay, if we shorten quarters, we're still going to be getting score review delays. Do you think the score review system will be able to be sped up the longer we have it and the better the technology and the cameras get?
Well, I've got a caveat to go with you, Terry.
Yeah.
In the EPL, it happens. It used to be 3 minutes stoppage time. When I was a kid, we always used to joke. If the game was shit, 1 minute. If the game was exciting, 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's 2. But now we're getting like 9-10 minutes. Last year, it was like 12 minutes stoppage time. They've adjusted like 90% now can be done on the fly. So the game carries on as if nothing's happened. And then the video ref will interfere with the play. And I've said this for ages. You could do that in AFL. Do you know what I mean? Like with a lot of the decisions that they're doing, you could just carry on as normal, like do the bounce on a goal, couldn't you? Because they wait ages.
On a goal, yes, for sure. No doubt. On a goal, I think they do that. I think they do review things. I think they did it for Jackson Binns' second shot on goal, which was touched on the line. They all started setting up and then...
brought it back.
This is brilliant from AFL Insight as well. That's like 10 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Can someone actually quantify
That
and
happened
add all
with
that
us.
up for a game?
Did you see that? They actually asked Jack Sinclair, was he in the ruck?
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop laughing because I was like, bro's 3'2".
Yeah, but the umps are so precious. If you put any more pressure on them, they just... Yeah, they'll
Why can't we just say 30 minutes, that's it?
Is it that bad?
Players wouldn't chip it around. There's a bit more urgency in the game. I personally don't give a shit. Like when I go, the only thing is, even in I think the first quarter, I noticed it went for like 32, 33 minutes, I think, and it was 4 goals each. Yeah. But I remember like when I was a kid, it had to be an actual shootout of like 7 goals each in that quarter to get to 31 minutes, you know? Now it's 32 if it's 4 goals each. I'm like, okay. But I feel like they take longer to bounce the ball, don't they? At the center bounce. I feel like they're taking longer waiting for the telecast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It takes ages. They just stand there.
I think you can definitely cut time if you throw it up every time after the first bounce of each quarter. But I'm inclined to wait a little bit longer before making such a move. And the reason why I say that is because I think score reviews are getting slowly but surely getting more and more efficient. I still remember when we first had score review, it was very clunky. And I think in 2-3 years, it'll be even more efficient than what it is now. And I think it'll get more smooth. So I'm inclined to wait a little bit longer before agreeing that we should shorten the quarters.
Yeah, I mean...
Would you accept like what we have in soccer and what we have in tennis and things like that? Like when you kick a goal for that centre bounce, to go with Jake's point, that it's the receiving team, the team that's had the goal conceded, once they're ready to play, that ball's bounced up. Because I think sometimes as well, the celebrations, the hugs take way too fucking long. So I have a rule that we have that in soccer. Once you've scored the goal, that ball's back in the centre circle. As long as the defending team's ready to play, the referee's at liberty just to go ready to play.
Even on the kickouts, wait till the flags are done. It's like, no, like the game just continues. Like get the ball, go. Like if there's a player open, then they bring him back. No, get back over the mark. They got to finish waving the flags, all that shit. It's like, that's 30 seconds. I reckon there's a minute and a half between goals sometimes. It's crazy how long it takes. Like they're standing there for 20 seconds. The celebration's 30 seconds. I mean, the set shot's 30 seconds on top of that, obviously, but yeah, it's just that's a whole minute there already.
Where else can they
So-
cut? Where else? Because I think they've cut time with the no 15 rule.
Mm.
Well,
Is halftime
no,
long
not
enough?
really.
Is the halftime break? That's 18 minutes, isn't it? Specifically 18 minutes?
I'm not sure.
It's 20 minutes.
Or is it short? Oh, it's 20. Okay.
Yeah, because I go for a dart. That's how I know that.
Yeah. I don't know where else they could necessarily.
They've definitely cut out time by doing the insufficient intent. That's the only thing I can think of. They're trying to get the game going again rather than continuously having throw-ins. Because the clock does stop if the ball goes out of bounds, right? Yeah.
Mhm.
But does the clock stop for an insufficient intent call? There you
I
go.
don't think so. No, I think it's just they get the ball, it's a free kick, play on.
Yep.
Motion, one motion, you know? There's no other times where the clock stops. It's just the ball ups, stop it like around the ground stoppages, center stoppage.
Interesting. It's really interesting that the Giants have brought. I haven't read it properly. Was there a reason why they specifically have brought this up?
Yeah, they alluded to their catchment area because it's a heavy NRL area.
Yeah.
That they're used to a game that's quick and concise. And they reckon that that's why there's failing numbers, is because it's turning people off, was what he said. It's turning people off. It's becoming like Test cricket was the illusion, he said on the radio.
Fucking hell. Well, yeah, right.
Interesting.
Which I
Yeah,
don't disagree
think
with, because I do genuinely, from doing the watch along, there is a lot. The game's so good, there is way too much delay for inconsequential things.
Where's the next time-cutting exercise coming from? I think it is score review.
Well,
Like, do we need to tap into?
Are we
the
taking into
umpire?
account? Are we taking into account when they run out? Because sometimes players run out, like when the teams come out. It's almost like 20 minutes before the game. Sometimes 15 minutes. Run out, get the game started. You know?
No. Oh, wait, Pom. Is
Talking
this
about
from first bounce till final siren, or is this
Yeah,
just the whole spectacle?
Yeah, it's the whole thing,
First
trying
bounce?
to condense
the whole thing.
the game. No, condense
Yeah.
the broadcast. Condense the
Yes.
broadcast, because it is like a 4-hour segment now. It's like 3 hours the game, roughly,
Oh, yeah.
from start to
Oh,
finish.
mate.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, every time we have a themed round, we're either doing the national anthem or pre-game ceremonies. I've just done this again.
I mean, to answer your question, I think they can save a lot of time with like be ready to play. I do think we waste a lot of time with like the 666 having a warning. There was a warning against us and St Kilda, wasn't there? And it's like, I said it on the live, why the fuck are they having a warning? We've had that rule now for like 6 years. It feels like it should just be an instant 50-meter penalty. You don't need a teething process anymore. The same with the ruck nominations. Surely it's obvious now that if you are playing third man up, aren't you? Which is why they brought it in to ban it. Like, it's obvious, isn't it? If Cripps suddenly pushes TDK out of the way, Carlton have cheated. Like, do we need to constantly tell each other, oh, I'm the guy in the ruck, just throw the ball up. If no one's there, no one's there.
Yeah.
Fascinating stuff.
Or am I harsh?
Yeah,
No.
the telecast is too long. Like,
The telecast is too long, yeah.
we're playing on 4:40, I think, on Sunday, the last game against West Coast. And by the time that game's done, and I'm selfishly looking at it from a content perspective, that's going to be 10:30, 11 o'clock. Like, because the game will finish at 8 or 8:30 beyond. It's ridiculous. And then to do everything after that. But even then, if you don't have content, it's like, it's almost bedtime. Like, for a 4:40 game. It's crazy.
Sunday nights are crazy.
Like,
I mean, I'm
not
with you
fun.
with the content thing, because then we've got to condense, especially when it's like Sunday into a Friday.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
I do think there's ways
consider
they
us.
could do it though. Like, I'm not proposing mass changes, but I do think you can kill time a little bit and not take away from the product. Like some of them
Yeah.
goal reviews, like there was that goal review with Bins. I don't know if you guys saw it at the stadium.
Oh yeah.
But the amount of fucking angles that guy took, and it was funny because like I've seen people post updates on Twitter with better camera angles than they've got. Like, surely you can help them out a little bit with that, can't you? Like, make that a little bit more streamlined.
That's genius. Imagine Arc was like connected to social media, and they could collect mass camera angles from the crowd behind the goals and then review them. So if you don't get them on the telecast and Terry's sitting in the perfect angle in the pocket and he's got it, upload it to this website. It's directed to Arc. They check it. And they're like, oh, Terry's got this angle. Yep, it's touched. Imagine that. Imagine a fan run Arc.
But to do it quickly, they would need to you would need to give access to your phone during recording. And that would need, because by the time you film it, stop recording, hit the website, upload it, upload speed. Yeah, it would, yeah. But so that is
you download an Arc app for goals, specifically just for goals, and they can tune into different camera angles. So they got like say they're in this room and it's 100,000 cameras at a grand final, and they can see that one, and that one has the finger touching it. We're gonna go with that. Call it up. It's touched. Thanks to these 2 camera angles from the crowd. You know, imagine that.
Well, if the chip in the ball could be proven and reliable, then I think you eliminate a lot of score review time.
What is the hold up on that? Because it's like reliable for every other sport, like AFL trying to suggest that their game's special over all the other codes.
Well, there was, from what I remember, it's actually a good question. What's going on with the chip? Because they trialed
it a year ago.
They trialed it in the AFLW and it worked. Carlton, Gold Coast, they called it touch. The chip reversed the decision and Carlton won the game, and it was the right call. But then I think there was a mistake with it later in the season. And I think the plan was to use it in the AFLW last year and then eventually trial it in VFL and then maybe get it to the AFL. I don't know.
Didn't a ball pop or something?
Weird.
Didn't a ball explode mid-game?
That was prior to the VFLW. Oh, no, you're right. Yeah, didn't it go flat?
Something like that, yeah, and they couldn't use it. Must have been that.
That's during the game.
Yeah, well, I think when that happens, you just got to kind of like...
There's a bit more time. Let's put more...
I don't mean to be harsh, but isn't that more... That just sounds more like an AFL screw-up than it does anything else. Like, that sounds like someone forgot to blow it up, doesn't it? Not the microchip. Like, I guarantee that's the intern P, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, what should come first? The chip in the ball or better cameras? What's going to save more time?
Better cameras. I mean, how many cameras are at the ground already, honestly? Like,
I'd be different. I'd be going more, well, can we save time organically? So, like, get rid of the nomination rule.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, get rid of the nomination rule. It's obvious that you're not playing third man up anymore, isn't it? You can't. Like, Cripps got pinged the other week, didn't he, for the ball hitting his head? Do you remember? It was the throw.
Yeah, on Friday night.
Yes, the throws, and the rucks just randomly moved out of the way and it hits him on the skull. So, like, it's obvious that the refs, the umpires know, don't they, that you're not meant to be there. So why are we going, are you ready, lads? Are you ready, lads? Just chuck the ball up. And the same with the bounce. Once one team's ready to play, you're all ready to play.
Yeah.
You could probably save, I would say, a decent amount of time in the game that way.
Do goal umpires have GoPros on there, like, at all? Do they have cameras on them at all?
No, they used to.
Like, because I always thought, if they think it's touched, they've seen it, and they had a GoPro strapped to them, like, at least then you've got that angle. I thought we had that, like, 2 years ago, didn't we? When
they were definitely trying it. They definitely had
the players took that specky, remember? Was it Adelaide? Where all the players jumped on the goal umpire, and that was, like, famous footage. I feel like he had a camera on him at that time. I don't know if they do it anymore.
Yeah. Goal umpire.
I just think that there's easy solutions. I don't understand how $1 billion corporation doesn't have better camera footage around the goals.
Hey, mate, as long as they got their marquees set up for
Mate.
September Club and their executives.
Hire YouTubers. Hire us YouTubers. We'll get GoPros. We'll have drones around the goals. Like, so easy.
Just woke
It's
nonsense.
So easy.
It's fascinating. You know what? While we've been on air, I've spent ages doing this, right? This has taken me a good part of the day. I'll show you an idea of how it could affect, right? Because one of my mates said something to me while I was having a coffee this afternoon and goes, I don't reckon if you shorten the game, it would affect results, right? It was like good teams are still good, bad teams are still bad. And I was like, okay. I was like, I would suspect when you watch the COVID year, we'd all agree some shit teams finished a lot higher than teams we would have said shouldn't be there. Do you know what I mean? So they got me deep diving. I will show you what the ladder would look like this season if we cut it off at exactly 20 minutes. So the siren goes no matter what, 20 minutes in. And it is absolutely fascinating what it has done to the ladder, right? So let me see if I can show you this. Right, so this one here, like you're about to say, is, go away, right, is the ladder as if we played only 20 minutes. There you are. So this would be the ladder as of today if you'd only played 20 minutes. The game was cut off.
So have you got the data here for what the score was for every game at the 20
Yeah, I've had
minute
to
mark?
do it. I've had to get data off the back end of the timeline and just basically delete every reference from anything that's 2000. So this is what it looks like if the game finished exactly 20-0-0 every quarter. So you'll see Crows would have drawn one game. Lost one game. So that's played. Here we are. Look, that's why it was wrong. There you are. So you would have seen there was a Sydney the Sydney Port game would have been a draw, but aside from that, you would see Crows would be 8-1, Dogs 7-2, Bombers 6-2, 6-3 for the Lions. Some weird results there.
Wow, North. That's an interesting. Well, Collingwood, I'm seeing here. Winnow says Pies kick late goals in quarters. Yeah,
and then this one here.
Yeah.
Is the lad? No, it's not. It's this one here. This one here is the ladder if you cut it off at 25 minutes.
That's incredible because our percentage in the first one was 141.8, which was the second highest in the comp, and now it's down to 92 5 minutes later. So we get battered. We get spanked in that last sort of 5-10 minutes of a quarter.
See, so it makes some differences. I mean, I would say one of the fascinating things is I when we watch the COVID year, I always say that Carlton played well in that because of the fitness. Because I don't think we were fit enough to run 30 minutes every game. And it made the competition more even. But I think there's something beautiful about the Pies being able to do that late. Because not only the incredible, skillful football side, but they're also athletes. They're marathon runners as well. They can do it for 30 minutes. And then North, I think that's the beautiful thing about North. It's good for 15 minutes out of 25 per quarter. It's that 10 minutes, though, where they're all blowing gas, isn't it? So I think that's the wonderful thing, isn't it, about AFL? When you link this show back to Terry's original question, it's the ultimate marathon of sport, isn't it? Because you've got to be skillful, you've got to be tough, you've got to be able to run 15Ks. There's nowhere to hide in our great game.
Mm-hmm. And you've got to do it for long enough, not only in a game, but in a season. That's
what I said. Like, it's all different types of fitness and athleticism. It's unbelievable.
Mate, I love it. Okay, so it's time. I don't know if we can do lock of the week or just tip the round.
Oh, we can tip the round.
I love doing it. You know what I love about
No, Jake, stop him doing this.
Oh no, what's
Jake,
he
it's
done
not
already?
healthy for him. I did this with him the other day, and he said, "Let's tip the rest of the season," and he had us fucking 100+ wins all the way. Like we won the ladder by about a percentage of 500, mate.
I just want to tip the round in an interactive way where we can like look at this and look at this, and I don't want to live in the Carlton echo chamber. So maybe we can start with: does anybody have a lock of the week?
Yeah, Pom's not playing with the spreadsheet again. That's killed me.
Oh, Brisbane aren't drawing or dropping points 2 weeks in a row. There's no chance. They'll smash Melbourne.
Okay, Brisbane
Yeah.
by 40, 60?
I was going to say 50, but yeah, we'll go.
I can do 50.
Yeah, we'll go 50. Yep.
All right.
Lock of the week: Hawthorn shocked the world, beat Gold Coast, who have never lost in NT. Sam Mitchell, masterclass.
Oh, really? That's Thursday night. Okay.
Oh yeah, it's going to be good.
Look at Terry. He just doesn't. He knows that we've got to ask Jake who wins Sydney, Carlton, and we know that.
Yeah, but I know he's going to pick Carlton anyway. So,
Jake, honestly, Carlton, Sydney. If I held a
Oh.
gun to your head, who's winning?
that's a tough one. That's a really tough one. Sydney look like shit, and Carlton's best is good enough.
Would you say that's a 50-50 game in your eyes?
Yeah, absolutely. If that was at the
Carlton
MCG,
win then,
I'd
Terry,
be.
because he said it was a
if-
50-50
if
game
that-
last week.
I'm thinking maybe Carl. If it was at MCG, it would make my decision a lot easier. That if it was at the MCG, I don't. Sydney are frauds, aren't they, Pom? Are they?
No,
Are they fraud
it's their
territory?
neighbours that are frauds. GWS.
The team that just went to Geelong. Come on, mate.
You seen their fucking record, Cocker? Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean?
Well,
You're talking about a team. We were getting somewhere, and
there.
now he's stuffed it. Now we're
no,
talking
he
about
was-
Giants.
what was
Giants are
tipping us?
Giants are 6-4, mate. Sydney are 4-6. One's in
still
the 8,
fraud.
one's not.
No, Jake.
No
so
one
let me-
had Sydney winning the flag, did they? Everyone
Pom
was saying
screwed you here,
GWS were a lot
Tez. I
for the
was
flag.
on board,
Let me-
mate. I was on
Let me
board.
quantify. Basically, last night on the Blue Abroad show, Carlton have 2 games. Well, yeah, we've got 2 games until the bye. We've got Sydney at the SCG, and then we play the Giants at Marvel Stadium next week, the week after. Yeah. So the question
You'll-
was to
yeah.
Carlton fans, well, how do you see the next 2 games going? Like I personally think we can win both.
You can win both. I think realistically, I don't know which order it's going to be, but I think it'll be 1-1. I just
Okay.
don't know which one.
Damn it.
I almost
That's
feel
what-
more
That's what I
inclined
said,
that you'll
Jake,
beat.
as well.
I feel more like you'll somehow beat the Giants at Marvel.
Yeah, we
There's
have
just
to win
something
that
about
for my
that.
sake.
But I think Sydney this week, but I think you'll smack the Giants at Marvel. I have a weird feeling
Hey!
you'll smack them at Marvel.
Why are we going to beat them, Jake? Because they're massive.
Nah, I'm not going there. Nah, not yet. They're in the 8. I'm not calling them frauds, mate.
Damn it. All right.
But I think you'll go 1-1. I'm. If you go 2-0, that's brilliant. But I think you're not going 0-2. You're definitely
you're
not
not
going
gonna
0-2.
If we beat GWS, will you come on this show and say that they're frauds?
If you beat them, absolutely. If Carlton beat them, I'm telling you they're frauds.
Never has there been a reason.
It takes Carlton beating. Like I said, we're not frauds because we're not in this conversation yet. But for a top 8 team to lose to Carlton, you're frauds. Moving on.
We were getting somewhere. We were close. We were close.
What do you want me to
Bringing
say?
me in.
It'll happen at some point, Tez. Just bide your time. It's all right, mate. Let's
thought
go through the
I
other.
was ready.
Okay, so Sydney Carlton,
you-
you're tipping who?
I'm tipping Sydney just by
Dickhead.
literally
Next game.
under 10. Under 10. Palm, come on. You said 1-1 was reasonable, yeah?
No, if you said 1-1, you've promised me I beat GWS, and that's all I want in my life. I'll be
I
happy.
think you'll beat him. I think you'll smack him. I didn't say beat him. I think you'll smack him.
Oh, Jake, stop
Don't quote me
turning
on that, baby.
I've got my
Come
lock
on,
of the
Blue
week.
Baggers.
Wow.
All right.
I've got my lock of the week.
What's
my
your lock?
boys, the Port Adelaide Football Club.
You reckon Port?
Yep.
Yeah, that's got Port win all over it, doesn't it? I think the Cats, they're floating into fraud waters at the moment. They lost to Carlton, so that's already fraud watch there. They lost to the Giants at home. They lost to us. Who else have they lost to? Is that all three? No, they've lost 4, haven't they?
Well,
In Collingwood,
Who, the
yeah?
Cats?
Have they played? Yeah. Who have they
no,
lost?
they
Yeah.
beat Collingwood.
You, Pies.
And not Pies.
You, GWS.
Blues.
Was it Brisbane they lost to?
Brisbane and the Blues. Yeah. So if they keep dropping some of these Port and these teams, they're slipping out of the 8 already. Like they're on the edge.
I think, I just think Port will be up for it, and or if they lose, it's going to be like the Sack Ken rhetoric is coming back next week. So
I mean,
we'll see.
Port could have beaten Adelaide. They were close.
Game.
It wasn't like they got spanked.
Can you sack someone who's already technically quit?
True, but like as in like sack him now and just like bring in Carr now.
After the bye. I think
Okay.
Giants.
So we've
there,
got our
probably in that
locks,
one.
and then we have to agree what on the next ones.
Okay, so Collingwood, Adelaide, MCG, no Darcy Moore.
I think Adelaide.
Ooh, really?
No Darcy Moore against that forward line, mate. That shifts there's not many times where you look at an in and out and it shifts the result. Darcy Moore with like a Darcy Moore-less game, and they're playing that
True.
forward line. And
He is the
Adelaide,
organizer.
yeah, and Adelaide have been so good against Collingwood in the past at the G and not quite gotten over the line. There was a couple, was it last year or the year before?
Last
5
year was
points,
the one
3
where ranking
points.
was dinged for running too far.
Yeah, that's right. And then the year before, I think they got within a kick, or it might have been last year anyway. They're very. I think they'll be up for their first game at the MCG for the year. I think.
Yep.
So they'll be up
it's
for it. Yeah.
It's a real tough one because I did my preview review of the week this week, and I didn't know Moore wasn't out then. And I was like, it's going to be interesting to see how Moore motivates Frampton to deal with the 3-headed beast. Surely they can't, Pies, can they? They can't.
If they do, it's unreal. Like if they do, that's a better win than beating Fremantle.
Yeah, like midfielders out. I
Yeah.
back them to replace, but a key position player who's a leader,
And against that forward line, that's tough. That's very tough.
Frampton versus Thilthorpe makes me feel physically sick.
Yeah, and
Hey
their
man,
smalls.
put some respect
yeah.
on Billy's name, man. My man Billy.
No, I
Frampton.
respect him, but he's going to be like the only recognised key position defender.
Yeah,
True.
I think Adelaide will get it. We'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to do it though, Biag Pie. Let's go, Crows.
I find it really hard to tip against Collingwood at the MCG, but I mean,
Yeah, that's fair.
2
that's
on
fair.
1. Doggies Essendon. Hey, Essendon have got a game in hand and they've won 5 games. Are they, or is this a tease?
It depends on this game, I think. This is the one. They've beaten like Sydney out of form, and then they've beaten the bottom sides. I think this is the test. I think if they can do something in this game, that says a lot.
Teresa has gone for the jugular.
Sorry,
You
Teresa.
told me at the start of the
You know what I love as well? She's come onto my stream to write the comment. Love your work, Teresa.
I think if you're going just by what I would tip, I'd tip the Dogs, but it'll be interesting.
Yeah,
That's
Dogs,
bizarre.
surely.
That's going to be a big crowd. That'll be a good game.
I'm firmly on Richmond here at the MCG.
Yeah. Richmond back to back.
Yeah,
I think this is the one. Not. Yeah.
Did you see?
That's a problem.
Did you see the clips? I think it was Sam McClure, maybe who raised it on maybe Footy Classified. It was clips of Clarko talking round 15 last year around the fact that it's been hard for North to practice late game situations at training because they don't find themselves in there. And then he found a clip from Dill Buckley's show. Maybe it's called Footy and Friends, and he's talking to Michael Barlow, who's an assistant coach at North. And Michael Barlow is this year essentially saying, we don't really practice late game situations. And it shows. Like, I was barracking for North, the last few weeks I've watched the endings of their games. I find myself barracking for them just because I like the underdog story. They've got no clue what they're doing. Yeah.
Yeah,
do you think it's a thing?
A thing.
Practicing late game situations and it actually translating? Because Collingwood obviously put that on the agenda.
I mean, is it already a sign of progress that they're in more of those situations this year, or are we going to skip that part and just hope that they get into them and then win them? Because like last year they weren't getting into the tight situations. It is progress. Okay, we're getting into them, and then next year and beyond, more experience, more level-headed. Then you put the nail in the coffin. You start winning those games. So are we going to skip that? Because to me, that's a step already. But North fans, it's like they want to skip that to just be good, be bad, and then just win. It's like it's not quite linear like that. You're going to go through these sort of tough moments, and if you come out the other side, then you're going to progress. But for now, you're failing.
Fair. And then. Yeah. Absolute belter.
Dessert. I'm terrified of this game. I think every Saints fan is.
You could not lose this game. No way.
I said it on my pod last night. I said anytime a team is on this long stretch of losses, it brings them ever so closer to their next win. If we lose this, we can't lose it.
I think the Saints of 2 years ago and prior to that could. I just think you're too disciplined. I mean, no way. I get the fear. Trust me. It's been instilled in me after round one.
When you see the zero right there, you're like, that's got to stay there. That's got to stay there.
We're going to lose from the St Kilda fan narrative? Like, what's expected here?
A big win.
40 plus, 60 plus.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that gives me confidence is last time we played them, we belted them. And that was kind of the first time we started belting teams. We've played Richmond since then. We've belted them. They're the only two bottom four teams we've played since sort of round 17 last year. And we've beaten them both by over 10 goals. Comfortably by over 10 goals. So I think we're like our version of progress compared to North is we're still kind of losing to teams around us a little bit, like Ports and the Carltons, but we're belting the teams below us. We're belting the teams below us. Well, you are. I mean, based on the ladder, I mean, you're not actually, but you got quite a few down there, but you get what I mean.
I get what you're saying. Okay.
So what would the margin be? Like if you went in there, like what part you're doing the review, what kind of when are you going to be pissed off with the win or ask questions about the win?
If it takes only 15, 20 minutes of really good football to sneak over the line, that would annoy me. If
so
there's certain wins that sometimes feel like losses. 2 years ago, we played them there and we were down for 3.5 quarters, played like shit. And it took an individual effort, I think, from Tim Membry or something. And we won by 8 points. But at the end of the game, I'm like, I don't even know how to talk about this game. Like, it's not a good win. It's just, okay, we won, but it feels like a loss. I don't want to.
Do you know what I hate about this matchup? If you win by too much, it's only West Coast. If you don't win by enough, question marks. We're struggling. We're in no man's land. It's honestly like there's a no win. There's a no win.
No, yeah, exactly. It is. It's.
I think
damned
Jake
if you do, damned if you don't.
Best I've ever heard as well. How you do it. It's how you do it.
Yeah.
Like a 30-point win and you're jogging the entire game and Saints don't get out of their half is just as good as a 120-point win where they fold.
Yeah, if we're in control, like you go there. Yeah, I don't want to hear their crowd get up and about the whole game. We missed Dougal Howard. He's out for 7 weeks now with a hamstring, so that hurts.
Really,
Yep. So that happened apparently in the last 5-10 minutes of the game.
mate. Harry
by
Mackay
the way,
ran
he
him
gave-
around.
He did. It was a tough It was a tough day for him. I think there was
Yeah.
some miscommunication with our zonal defense and man on man from what I saw, but Harry was very good.
Can I ask
He
a
was very
question
good.
before we go, Jake? Because
Yeah.
this has been doing my head in, right? And I haven't seen Gus in the comment section this week. Caminiti, is it fair to say, guy's dog shit as a forward? Why did you move him away from the back line?
It only happened when Dukes came back, so he's going to play. He'll be back in defense this week and beyond, I'd imagine, until the Flying Vikings.
But would you agree? He actually looked a good player.
He's
down
definitely.
the back.
Yeah, he's much better as a defender than as a forward. He's competitive in any position, but he's better as a footballer in the back line. Yeah, so him and Wilkie will definitely play back, I'd imagine, this week. Yeah.
Oh, also, AFL 26, guys,
Ah,
review.
Yes. Haven't played it.
Can I just say, Luke coming on here last week talking all his shit, only to spend the next 48 hours with a bug game. Karma.
Yeah, it actually looks all right. I mean, Pom, you did a review as well. I watched that.
Oh, thank
earlier
you.
today.
I was going to
that was
say, when Terry goes,
was a really
"Can I
good
have a
video."
review of it?" Fucking did one.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah.
No,
it
as
was a
in,
great
like,
video.
tell us about it. I haven't played it.
Genuinely, like, honestly, like I said in my video, you've got to lower your expectations. You're in Australia, the smallest budget of a game ever, selling it to maybe 5 million tops if they get their hands. So if you judge it based on that and get out of 2K, get out of FIFA, and don't even have them in the conversation, I think as a game, it's about 6.5 out of 10. And the way I see it is it worth $100? If I was in England and it was called EPL 26, I'd laugh. But because we haven't got a game, it's playable. It's okay to play. Did I like paying $100 for it? Not really. But I'll be honest, it's kept me entertained, and I haven't played FIFA in 4 days. It's playable. It's slightly buggy, but it's the best installment we've had for a while. And it is good fun. And honestly, Pro Team, I've been playing that where you build your team, you've got to pack cards and stuff like that. It's good fun. It is good fun. So my advice, get around it. Like $100, $80 at most of your game shops. The more we support it, 2 things are going to happen. Either they're going to make a better game, or the AFL will see the potential marketing of it and start supporting it. Because if you remember, they did work with EA as a 50% collab with EA, and EA built a game for them in 99, but it was partly AFL funded it. If we can prove that 1 million people will buy it, 2 million, people are going to, maybe a bigger developer will come in and help. But it's good fun. It's good fun, honestly. Like, honestly, I've enjoyed it. Me and the kids are enjoying it. And if you are on Pro Team, Pommy and Oz YouTube on PlayStation, add me and we'll have a bit of a razz online. But we are going to do a lot of streams on Pommy and Oz.
I'm sold now. I'll add you.
But I do have a suggestion. Chat. Bully the other 2 into it. I was thinking, at the buy, why don't we go round to one of our houses, and instead of doing this kind of show, we do it together, stream it through all of our channels, and we'll do a AFL 26 content creators battles for 1 couch camera.
That's
the
it.
2
Yeah, I'd
not
love to do
playing
that.
can do the commentary and special noises.
4 guys, 1 couch. I like it.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And we'll do a tournament. Do you know what I mean? Play each other twice, have a little ladder. Chat can get involved and bully each other.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm done. I'm
the
down
answer
for
is
that.
yes. I'm in. I need to
reckon
play
that'd
it.
be a good 3-hour stream. You know, we have a few beers.
Yeah.
We
we drink
could have a
Yorkshire tea?
camera in one room to do the commentary, and then a camera in the game room.
Can we drink Yorkshire tea?
You can drink beer, tea, depending what the algorithm is. If, like, do you know what I mean? drop a tab. I don't care. Like, let's just play games.
Microdose play AFL 26. Wow. All right. Look, I've really enjoyed the show, lads, but it's just not the same, you know? Like we
Without Swoop.
yeah, like as in we've really got a little groove going on. It needs the four of us.
Is there a cameo coming?
No.
I thought you
No.
were setting
I
up something
thought
there.
that as
I
well.
really thought he
I
was
thought as
setting
well.
up. I was like,
No.
he's got some vision of Swoop or something. But
Oh, no, the only vision I actually okay, fine. The only vision I do have is vision of like just like the recap of, you know, talking about Saints and Saints fans in general.
They're arrogant fans. We're trying to laugh us. Look, they're back in the mud. The sewers, the stench, the football filth, they're back in there. And it's great. They stuck their head out the parapet for 4, and then they got shot, and then shot, and then shot, and then shot, and then until they're on the ground.
you know that I can't wait till you get pumped by Sydney.
Same. Oh dear. Dear oh me.
Enjoy it.
We do love you, Jake.
We do.
No, I know,
Hey,
I know.
You are a great sport, and we are. Are we that bad? Are we? Is it because there's so many Carlton fans?
I
that
don't know
why
if it's about
it's been-
being. It's not just about the quantity. It's also the quality, and there's a pretty low quality out there. But otherwise, enjoy the win.
I thought there were a lot of Carlton fans showing respect and fear to the Saints pre-game.
You did. That's all I know.
Oh,
That's all I know.
I
mate.
didn't.
Nah, Pom didn't. No, I saw your match preview. It wasn't bad.
I'm
genuinely-
always
neutral.
respectful. You tar
Quite
me.
neutral.
I don't know.
Quite neutral. I don't. No, I don't.
You tar me. Most well-rounded reviews in the world. I do. Give
You do.
everyone the respect.
100%. Yeah.
The
100%.
only thing I disrespected you is when you said it was 50-50 and you took it the wrong way last week when I said it's a disgrace if Carlton view this game as a 50-50 with what they're doing. I didn't mean it nastily. I meant it with love.
Nah. Yeah.
Anyway, I'm just glad that this game is done and
Same,
we don't have
same.
to see St Kilda for, you know, another
And we don't have
season.
we don't have Collingwood, do we, again?
Yeah, we do.
You have Collingwood?
We have
Oh, yeah, we
Collingwood
do.
again, and we have Hawthorn again.
I still don't know why we don't. I mean, we played you twice in 23.
I don't think I could do
I
twice
just-
with you, mate. That's just too much.
Why?
I mean,
Is
actually,
it
it would be great.
Is it a worse build up for the Saints Blues games generally than the Collingwood Carlton games?
You just know the Saints are not. They get up for the Blues. They love playing the Blues. They do.
We don't
You
give a
can-
shit about the Blues. You care about it. You think we get up for it.
Whoa! Don't open
All right,
this
let's
can
end
of
the
worms
show.
again.
Come on, man. I want to go make
Don't
a tea.
open
Let's
this
go.
again, mate.
Let's
Mister,
bloody go.
this is the game that everyone circles.
You
in
know
their
if you
calendar.
keep, if you bring up Blues enough and you keep the live button on more, you know something will slip. Just hit end show. Let's go.
Okay. Ladies and gents.
Thanks everyone.
see
Thanks
you next
everyone.
week.
Yeah,
Go
go
Blues.
Saints. See ya.